In April 2011, a man in a hoodie walked out of the Tropicana Casino, shown here, with $5.8 million in profit after a 12-hour session at the blackjack table. He did not count cards. He did not mark the deck. He broke 0 rules. Yet within weeks of paying him out, the casino management was scrambling to get lawyers involved to see if they could sue him to get the money back. The Tropicana payout was the climax of a perfectly legal 6-month strategy. In total, this single player extracted $15 million from 3 different casinos, entirely by using their own desperate contracts against them. This chart shows Atlantic City casino revenue over time. You can see how the market peaked in 2006 at $5.2 billion. But then the 2008 financial crash happened, and that top-line number plummeted to $3.3 billion by 2010. While the economy was crashing, the neighboring state of Pennsylvania legalized their own local casinos. Gamblers who used to drive to the Jersey Shore could suddenly gamble in their own backyards. Atlantic City casinos began to panic. Their marketing departments frantically called big spenders, trying to lure them back with free private jets, luxury hotel suites, and VIP show tickets. But for high rollers, those standard luxury perks just weren't moving the needle anymore. To get the biggest, most important players back into their buildings, the casinos had to offer a strictly financial incentive. Competing properties started offering a deal called a loss rebate. This animation shows exactly how a standard loss rebate functions. A player loses $100,000, but the casino takes a 10% slice of that loss and gives it right back. The gambler walks away with a net loss of only $90,000. Even with that safety net, the math dictates that the casino will still eventually win. The house is simply choosing to take slightly less profit to guarantee that a big spender actually sits down at their tables. The casinos eventually reached out to a man named Don Johnson. He was a former state gaming regulator who managed computer-assisted wagering programs. He understood exactly how casino math operated, down to the decimal. When 3 different casinos all called offering him these desperate rebate deals, Don hired a team of PhD mathematicians. He had them run hundreds of computer simulations to design a highly specific counteroffer. Don's first demand: increase his rebate from 10% up to 20% on any losses over $500,000. His second demand: calculate the rebate per playing session, resetting the risk daily, rather than combining losses over an entire trip. By resetting the risk every single day, Don could pack up his winnings and keep all the profit on a good day. But if he had a terrible day, the casino was forced to immediately pay back a massive chunk of his losses. Look at this blackjack table. Don negotiated specific rules here, like requiring the dealer to stop on a soft 17. He also asked to double on any 2 cards, split aces multiple times, and surrender a bad hand. This circle represents the casino's mathematical advantage. Combined, Don's rule requests shave off tiny fractions of a percent, eating away the edge until it vanishes. Plus, one casino agreed to pay Don $50,000 just for walking through the door. All these rules and rebates created what mathematicians call expected value. Think of it as a statistical gravity that pulls money toward one side of the table. For the first time, that gravity was pulling toward the player instead of the house. The PhD mathematicians confirmed it. Don had flipped the math of the game, guaranteeing an average profit of $175,000 to $200,000 every single day. To make this math work in reality, Don executed a rigid playing strategy. He would sit at the tables until he was exactly $500,000 up or $500,000 down, and then immediately stop playing to lock in his mathematical advantage. Don started at Caesars and then moved to the Borgata, pictured here. He won moderate amounts, $400,000 one night, $600,000 another. He played slowly and casually so that management would watch him cash out and assume he was just a regular guy on a lucky streak. During one session at the Borgata, the cards turned against him. He stuck to his strategy and let himself lose $800,000 in a single sitting. The pit bosses were thrilled to finally beat him, but they didn't realize that even with that loss, Don was still up by more than $500,000 overall at that casino. By willingly taking a controlled hit, Don built total credibility with the staff. He perfectly disguised his mathematical trap as the normal up and down luck of gambling. The pit bosses saw him bleed chips, which blinded them to the fact that his contract made winning long-term inevitable. The strategy reached its peak during a 12-hour marathon session at the Tropicana in April 2011. Don had earned their trust, and now he was ready to use his negotiated contract to its maximum potential. In the final hours, Don was splitting pairs and doubling down, pushing his bets until he had hundreds of thousands riding on a single turn. The dealer kept drawing bad hands and busting. By the time he walked out of the Tropicana, seen here, Don Johnson had extracted a total of $15 million from 3 different casinos in just 6 months. The aftermath was a total panic. Casino executives were fired, loss rebate programs were immediately killed, and the casinos started threatening legal action, desperate to find any loophole they could use to recover their money. The state's gaming regulators, the people responsible for making sure everything is fair, launched an investigation. They reviewed the footage and the contracts, and their conclusion was simple. Don played strictly within the negotiated rules. He didn't count tarts, and he didn't cheat. For decades, the casino industry spent billions designing games that use pure probability to take their players' money. But the moment a single player used math against them, the casinos immediately wanted a courtroom to step in and stop it.